Salutations, spooks, spirits, and specters, and welcome back to more Corpse Party, Book of Shadows, Episode 3, where Miss Yui is quite feverish. I struggled to wriggle free, but Miss Yui only grabbed me tighter. Our bodies were getting more and more intertwined. And every time I squirmed, Ms. Yui would just pull me in even closer.
Tsukasa-kun.
As her chest rose and fell erratically, droplets of sweat slid down into her cleavage. I could feel the heat of her fever radiating off of her steadily encroaching face, as well as the shoulders I'd grabbed in an effort to push away.
そばにいて、司くん、お願い。だから人違い。
Questions were swirling around in my head. Why was Ms. Yui crying? And who was this Tsukasa person? But I was most concerned for the state of her pajamas, which had become even more disheveled during our struggle.
先生、パジャマ、ズボン。ずり落ちてるから。司くん、あったかい。ゆい先生ってば
Realizing that not a single word was getting through to her, I sighed resignedly. I'd taken care of Yuka any number of times when she'd caught a cold and drawn a fever, but I don't recall it ever getting this bad. Ms. Yui was usually calm, collected, and rational. Who would have ever imagined that a fever could leave her so thoroughly discombobulated?
ゆい先生、ちょっと、もう
I put more strength into my resistance, and finally her arms relaxed just the tiniest bit. But her expression changed drastically.
やだ。先生、俺は持田聡で、司って人じゃ。
Ms. Yui was acting like a spoiled child. Slipping out of the shoes I'd still been wearing, I again drew close to her sprawled out form. There was no way I could just leave her here like this.
後で気がついて怪しまないでくれよ。
Ms. Yui lets out a lethargic groan, perhaps in response to my quiet murmurings. At my wit's end, I grabbed hold of her and did my best to carry her into the back room. Gently wheeling her over to her unfurled futon, I then casually laid her down, making sure I didn't drop her in the process. Then there was the matter of rebuttoning those pesky pajamas again. I hesitantly pulled up her pajama bottoms and brushed away the stray hairs that were plastered to her brow with sweat. I'd done my best to avoid seeing anything I shouldn't, but I am a guy, so my heart was pounding the whole time. Ms. Yui's pajamas were soaked through with sweat. She really might have been better off with a change of clothes altogether. But no, that would have been going way too far.
タオルとか何か拭くものでもあれば。
Noticing a convenience store bag carelessly tossed to the floor, I glanced inside.
なんだ、冷却シート買ってきてあるじゃん。なんで使ってないんだか。もう。先生、ヒヤッとするけど我慢してね。これでよしと。
I placed one of the compresses on her forehead and pulled the covers over her. Ms. Yui appeared almost instantly relieved. She exhaled contentedly and her breathing became more relaxed. Finally, she was asleep. Even in sleep, Ms. Yui seemed to be suffering.
モネ。なんだ、先生が心配か？だよな。俺もここまでひどいことになってるとは思わなかったよ。
Monet had coiled up on my legs without me noticing. I began absent-mindedly speaking to him. He mewed in response, and our conversation ended there as my gaze was still fixed squarely on Ms. Yui.
さて、どうしようか。ゆい先生。俺、このまま帰っても大丈夫
？She wasn't in any condition to respond. But
ゆい先生。
Ms. Yui's hand had slipped out from under the futon and was gently grasping my pant leg. 'Her grip was much weaker than before. But I knew I'd probably regret it if I went home now. Ms. Yui just seemed really lonely.
仕方ないな。
Without disturbing Ms. Yui's hold on me, I took a seat beside her. For the time being, I figured I'd watch over her and make sure her condition didn't worsen. Occasionally, Ms. Yui's breathing would become ragged and she'd furrow her brow. She was in a pretty bad way.
辛そうだな。
Wasn't there anything else I could do? I glanced quietly down the hallway. I'd noticed when I carried Ms. Yui here that the kitchen near the entrance was perfectly neat and tidy. There wasn't any indication it had been used that day at all.
飯食ってるのかな？え？
Monette's gaze shifted suddenly. I followed it and saw pet bowls laid out in the corner of the room. One dish was filled to the brim with water, and the other was piled high with dry cat food.
なるほど。モネはちゃんと食べてるんだな。熱出してあんな状態になってても、お前のことはちゃんと考えてくれてるんだな。でもさ、ゆい先生、まずは自分の食事の心配をしようよ。
I shook my head at the whole situation, then glanced down at Monette, who was still tilting his head as if trying to understand me. I broke into a wry smile. When I'd pulled out the cold packs, I did notice some cheap convenience store food in the bag as well. I guess that was going to be her food for the day. Not exactly the best stuff to eat when you're sick.
米と、あと卵くらいはきっとあるよな。卵がゆでも作ろう。先生、キッチン借りるよ。
Her face was bright red, and her half-pained, half-contented noises provided me with no clear-cut answer to my question.
仕方ない。ゆい先生の代わりに、モネに許しをもらおうかな。モネ、キッチンを借りていいか？うん、ありがとう。
Monette's cries helped assuage my guilt over entering a woman's apartment and borrowing her kitchen. Not that I had any reason to feel guilty. I don't think, anyway. I mean, circumstances were what they were. Still, I had this nagging sense that I should have somehow felt bad about what I was doing.
ゆい先生、ごめんな。ちょっと離れるよ。
One by one, I gently peeled off of each of the fingers latched onto my pant leg. The expression on her face changed as I was doing so, from contented rest to mild annoyance, but there was nothing to indicate that she might wake up.
よし、作るか。
As I stood up, Monette mewed happily and began tagging along at my heels. And Ms. Yui, now resting by herself in the bedroom, let out a sudden sneeze.
Kya! ちょっとゆいかかったよ今くしゃみごめんごめんなんだか鼻がムズムズするのまったくもうティッシュあれどこやったっけ なければ私の使ってよ。せめてものお詫び。やった。じゃあ私使う。私も持ってないよ。ティッシュちょうだい。はい。サンキュー。あんたたちね、ティッシュくらい常備しときなさいよ。面目ない。まったく。それで何の話だっけ？そうそう。だからさ、とうとう3年になっちゃったよねって話。ああ、だね。あと1年で卒業か。卒業もだけど、私たちそれよりもっと考えなくちゃいけないことがあるじゃない？進路よ。いや、聞きたくない。正直さ、進路相談何回受けたって将来のことなんかはっきりしないっていうかさ。だよね。どうするかな、ほんと。ねえ、ゆいはもう進路とか決めてる？実はね、もう決めてるんだ。なにゆい、何になりたいの？私はね、私の名前は宍戸ゆい、17歳。将来の夢は先生になること。あまりよく考えずに人のことに首を突っ込んでは空回ってることが多い私だけど、でもそんな私でもきっと頑張れば夢が叶うって信じてる。
Kisaragi Academy, 5 years ago. The cherry blossoms were in bloom, and the rustling wind carried with it the soft warmth of the season. I was a high school senior now, and was devoting myself to my studies in preparation for the day my dream could become a reality. And that dream was to become an English teacher. My grades were on the fence for getting into the university I wanted, though. So my best bet was to score a special recommendation from the academy.
Ah, よかった。急に呼び出されたから何事かと思ったよ。ある日の放課後、私は職員室に呼び出された。何かヘマをやったのかとか、成績が志望校に及ばないとか、そういう悪いことを言われるんじゃないかってビクビクしてたんだけど、私の予想に反して呼び出された要件はとてもいいものだった。
うちの学園からはライバルはいなさそうだから、このまま頑張れば推薦してやるぞ。だ
ってなんかやる気出てきちゃった。この調子で頑張らないとね。それにしてもゴミ箱ってどうしてこんなに重たいんだろう。ゴミ捨て場まで持っていくのも一苦労だよ。
なあ。
突然声をかけられてゴミ箱を抱えたまま振り返る。それは今まで話したことのない男子生徒だった。でも見かけたことなら何度もある。彼は7組の三国司くんだ。
そこ足元根っこが出てるから気をつけな。
え？
He did warn her.
ちょっとそこ笑うとこ？
だってよ
もうそこはさ、大丈夫かとか聞いてくれたって。
悪い悪い。
あ、いいよ、そんな手が汚れるよ。
別にいいよそんくらい。笑った詫びに手伝う。
ありがとう。
うん。これで全部拾い終えたか？
もう大丈夫。
じゃ行くぞ。
え？あ、
I remember it well, even now. This was my first time talking with Tsukasa, and he left a strong first impression on me.
ごめん、重たいよね。
別に。
やっぱり自分で。
いいって。はい終了。
ありがとう、助かったよ。
じゃあな。
あ、ちょっと待って。
あ？
お礼させてよ。
いい女のこれくらいで。
いいからちょっと待っててね。
ん？
友達が増えるというのは嬉しいし楽しい。その相手が三国司くんというのも嬉しかった。司くんのことは実は少し気になっていたから。よいしょっと。
Most of the times I'd seen Tsukasa before this were in the school courtyard. He spent a lot of time there sitting alone on the bench. Even after school or during summer vacation, if I happened to pass by, I would always see him there. And after this little encounter, we'd go on to make many fond memories together. Yet somehow, the image of Tsukasa that stands out most in my mind is of him seated alone on that courtyard bench.
はい、どうぞ。コーヒー牛乳でよかった。
まあなんでもいいけどサンキュー。
これは私からのお礼なんだから黙って受け取ってくれればいいの。
義理がたいやつ。
We walked to the bench together, sat down, and began making small talk. That courtyard bench was a sort of mystical place. The leaves rustled over your head, and if you closed your eyes and opened your ears, it felt as though you were in the middle of some forest. And then, if you looked straight up, the sunlight poured in through the leaves, and you almost felt like you were in another world.
初めて座ったよ、このベンチ。
なかなかいいだろ
素敵な場所。
だよな。
あ、だからなの？
え？
この時間とか昼休みとかよくここにいるでしょ。
ああ。
この場所好きなんだね。
まあね。
そっか。
The leaves rustled as a gentle breeze blew between us. We were both silent for a bit, but strangely, it didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable.
聞かないのか？
ね？
いつも一人で何してんだって。
この場所が好きだからいつもここにいるんだよね。
そうだけどさ。
他に何か理由があったりするの？
ないよ。
じゃあ聞く必要ないじゃない。
そうだけど、ほら普通聞くだろ。一人でそんなんつまらなくないかとか、意味わかんねえとか、変わってるなとか。
そんなこと思わなかったな。ここが好きなら一人でいたって別に変じゃないよね。
お前変わってるな。いや、そんな顔しなくても、今のは俺的褒め言葉だから。
変わってるが褒め言葉？
そうそう。
なんか納得いかないな。
The expression on Tsukasa's face was a dead giveaway that he really enjoyed talking to me. And I've always loved the feeling I get when I know my words helped brighten someone's day. I must have been sporting one hell of a goofy smile at that moment.
本当はさ、この学校でもっと好きな場所があるんだよ。
どんなところ？
秘密。とっておきだからな。
ってことはそこも超素敵な場所なんだよね。
ああ。
いいな。どこ？気になるよ。
ダメ。そう簡単には教えない。それにいつでも見れるってもんじゃないんだ、そこの景色。
司くんは笑いながら紙パックのジュースを飲み干すとベンチから立ち上がった。そして目の前にあったゴミ箱をひょいっとつかみ 私を振り返る。
Alright, I'm actually going to go ahead and end this here. One thing I really wanted to say that kind of just stood out to me a lot during this particular session was just like the sound effects are just so fitting to kind of like correlate the action going on. I feel like I've gone through a couple of visual novels where they just have the sound effects in the dialogue box, and you're just kind of like, okay, thump. That's the sound of him emptying the trash can. Whereas here, they actually went through the effort and just like, let's actually put in a sound effect that shows that he's dumping the trash into the bin. That's really nice. I like it a lot. But as I mentioned, I'm going to end it here. So thank you all very much for watching. And ciao for now. Ciao for now.